Rebirth, Divine Doctor, Sweet Wife Chapter 1, In the next life, I will marry you. The weather today seems a bit dull. Even if you are sitting in the car, you can still feel the heavy depressive air outside. Gu Qingyao sat in the back seat, thinking about the things in her heart. After so many years, I finally made a decision in my heart to marry that man. I was entangled in the past, but at this moment, there is a lot of sweetness in my heart. Gu Qingyao knows that I really fall in love with him. It was not his fault that year, and he has been making up for it. Let him move on from the past. At the gate of the military area compound, Gu Qingyao just got out of the car and saw a woman walking towards her. This woman was wearing a white dress. Even though she was not too young, her elegance and nobility still involuntarily exuded. She is a beauty. Beihan looked at Gu Qingyao, who was even more beautiful than herself. Her beautiful pupils flashed with crazy jealousy, and a sneer of disdain appeared at the corner of her mouth, and said sarcastically, "Look at your mood, it seems pretty good. Ha! You want to marry Beihan? You can still accept the man who once raped you. Your heart is really big. It's no wonder that a girl like you who grew up in the country, can marry a wealthy family like the Mo family. It's a blessing for 8 generations. Fortunately, he raped you back then. Otherwise, where would you have the chance to marry him?" Gu Qingyao clenched her fists. This was her nightmare. It is also the biggest pain in her heart. Beihan liked Beihan, but Beihan didn't like her. In order to get Beihan, this woman did not hesitate to give him medicine. But Beihan was unwilling, and he escaped, but when he came back, he met her. It was night at that time, and she was the only one in the room, lying on the bed, feeling helpless. Her throat was drugged by Zhangzai and Yun Ruoking's mother and daughter, and she couldn't even shout. Although Beihan had a medicinal attack, he still retained some sanity and was not willing to hurt her. Beihan was about to leave. As soon as he arrived at the door, another man got inside her room from the back window. The most wretched man came at her, and he would defile her when he entered the room and saw her. She was weak at the time, couldn't run away, and couldn't yell out. Only she knew the kind of panic and despair. Fortunately, Beihan heard the movement and came back to rescue her. She was only 15 years old at the time, and when she encountered this kind of thing in the middle of the night, she was so terrified that she had a nervous breakdown and fainted. Beihan was afraid that something might happen to her, so he didn't dare to leave, so he could only guard by the bedside, and when the medicine passed, he lay on her bedside and fell asleep. The next day, it just got dark, and things broke out. Zhangzai and Yun Ruoking brought someone to catch the rape. It was in the 1970s, and it was still in a special period. It was conservative and backward time. The relationship between men and women was very strict. If Beihan had not taken all the responsibilities with all his strength, she would probably be criticized to death. At that time, no one cared whether she had a relationship with Beihan. Her reputation was completely ruined. In the turbulent 70s, she lived through infinite panic and spurned by thousands of people. It is precisely because of this that she has been unable to let go of this knot. Throughout her teenage years, in such a conservative era, such rumors were enough to stimulate her to go crazy. From then on, she was afraid of men, including Beihan. Beihan has been trying his best to make up for so many years. After so many years, she was finally willing to accept and marry him. Beihan. Gu Qingyao strives to keep herself calm. Don't be fooled, the other party is deliberately stimulating you. Gu Qingyao curled her lips, confronted Beihan's eyes straight, and smiled. Look at your tone, it's so sour. I see, you are actually jealous of me in your heart. You wish it was you who was raped by him back then. So that you can marry him, right? You. Beihan's pretty face was instantly distorted. Ah, right. Gu Qingyao's smile widened. I still want to thank you. If it weren't for the medicine you gave him back then, this country girl might really have no chance to marry a rich family like the Mo family. You are such a good person. Ah, shut up. Beihan thought of this, and as a jealous person it was not good, especially Gu Qingyao. She even showed it off to her. Bitch. What are you? Just a wild girl from the country dared to marry Mo Beihan. You are not worthy. Not worthy. Go to. This time, Beihan was thoroughly stimulated by the news that Gu Qingyao was about to marry Mo Beihan, and rushed over to push Gu Qingyao abruptly. However, there was the main road behind, and a car happened to pass by. Gu Qingyao wanted to avoid it, but it was too late. Yayo. With a heart-piercing cry, just before she was hit, she watched the man who had been waiting for her rushing towards her. Don't. Don't. One is from Gu Qingyao, and the other is from Beihan. All told Mo Beihan not to come. Boom. The violent collision drove the two into flight. No. Beihan screamed like crazy when she saw that Mo Beihan had also been hit. When she rushed over, another truck passed by, and the ear-piercing whistle sounded. Gu Qingyao lay on the ground and watched Beihan's thin body hit. The truck was carrying heavy cargo and the brakes could not stop on time. Beihan was crushed by the truck. The huge wheel ran over her thigh, directly crushing the dancing legs into meatloaf. That beautiful face was ruined by rubbing it on the ground. Gu Qingyao, who has been a doctor since she was a child, actually felt that Beihan should not have died, but lived rest of life disabled, is definitely better than death. Disfigurement, and a broken leg. She also killed her and Mo Beihan. She should be tortured, haha. At the last moment of consciousness, she looked at the man in front of her. Mo Beihan's consciousness has gradually blurred, and he is holding Gu Qingyao's hand tightly at this moment. Yayo. In the next life, I will marry you. Rebirth, Divine Doctor, Sweet Wife Chapter 1, In the next life, I will marry you. The weather today seems a bit